Diego Ortiz. We're in the American Heart Association test kitchen today. We're about to prepare a perfect fall recipe, a Moroccan lentil stew, and we're joined by two very special guests. First, let's give it up for Chef Hans. He's coming to us from Compass One Healthcare and Morrison Healthcare, who are amazing supporters of the American Heart Association. And we're lucky to be joined by a volunteer, a longtime supporter of the AHA, Brittany Modell. She's a registered dietitian. So as Chef is preparing this amazing stew, Brittany's gonna be dropping some knowledge, some facts to help keep us all heart healthy. I'm gonna get out of the way and let Chef and Brittany take over.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
guys for being here.
Super glad that we're collabing today. We've got some really nice ingredients going on. We're looking at our Moroccan stew. Like I said, it's fall, it's butternut squash. We have a lot of flavors. We're grinding up some spices. We're zesting our lemon. We're cutting our onions. We're sauteing our peppers and our garlic and everything that we got going on. So we'll talk about the ingredients in just a minute here. We're just gonna cut up our onion up here. And I don't want you to start crying, so if you want to...
Might take a little step back.
Yeah, if you start to cry, it's only because of the onion, not because of...
What I love about this recipe too is it's really fiber rich, which is obviously so important for heart health. And the AHA recommends 5 servings a day, so 3 servings of vegetables a day, 2 servings of fruit. And so we have some nice ingredients in here. And again, like lentils, really, really fiber rich and extremely heart healthy.
Yeah, I love it. I love lentils. I love them doing stews. I love doing soups. I like even put them in like a salad. Right in a salad. Heart healthy is the way to go.
Yes.
Everybody's healthy nowadays, working out, exercising, getting out there. We've been cooped up for quite some time, so it's really a good way to express what we're doing and eat healthy. It's a new age. So we're going to cut up a little small yellow onion here. We're going to dice it up.
Onions also add so much flavor, and they're extremely rich with antioxidants and all incredible nutrients, but it also definitely enhances the flavor of the meal.
Oh yeah. And you see a lot of recipes that say, hey, saute it for a few minutes to translucent and, you know, where it's kind of fork tender. I really like to let them go a little bit longer. You really want to bring out those flavors, those sugars, those natural flavors of onions, and let it go for a little bit longer than sometimes the recipes say. And that'll make the dish a little bit richer for you.
Great.
So we have a 1 small white onion, yellow onion here we're going to dice up. And now we're going to go with some garlic. Recipe calls for about 2 cloves. You could cheat and put 3 or 4. The garlic's pretty good for you too, I imagine.
Garlic is also tons of flavor and nutrients, especially when, you know, as we get into the colder months, it can be really great for fighting off some common colds and so forth.
Great. And if you have a little too much garlic, I think a great way, you could just kind of wrap it up, get it in the oven, a little olive oil and roast it off. You can make a paste out of it. You can do a little bit of everything with garlic. I mean, make an aioli out of it. So we take our garlic, and I know you've probably seen it 100 times. I like to grab it, smash it down, do a little clip on the end, and it should roll right out like that. We have a nice piece of clean garlic right there. We'll repeat the process just a few times. Now, as I'm doing this, I've got some really nice coriander in here, which is the seed of the cilantro plant. So we have some coriander. If you could just kind of smash that a little bit for me while we're doing that, so it gets a little more fun. Put it right there. And as you're doing that, we're really releasing the flavors. You know, you could get the ground coriander, you could get the, you know, the whole coriander. I love the whole ingredients because it really releases the flavors, and I like to toast all of my spices as well. Toasting spices really releases the juice, the oils from it, and kind of, you know, open that door when you're home cooking and somebody's walking in and say somebody's toasting some spices. We've got something nice going on.
It smells great already.
Yeah, it does. Really kind of like a slightly sweet and aromatic smell to it. I mean, I love it. So we have our oil, we have our pot heating over here. I'm just going to kind of slip on over here and grab my spoon. It's getting warm. We have a really great little warmer for here. This is great to have for like a backyard barbecue. We want to keep some food warm as well. Okay, so for our ingredients here, let's move that to the side. We've got about a teaspoon of canola oil, Canola oil, really great oil for you, heart healthy, reduces heart disease and risk. So if I say you can use canola or you can use olive oil,
Yeah.
those are the best ways to go.
And I would say the one thing to think about too is the smoke point. Wanting to get an oil that matches the appropriate smoke point. I feel like canola has a fairly high smoke point as well.
It certainly does. It holds
Yeah.
up to the heat. Yeah, I love it. Anything on the healthy side with the oils, I love an olive oil.
Love
You don't
olive
want to kind of too many stews with olive oil, so the canola really holds up for that.
Yes.
So I'm gonna just grab our onion here. Our oil is heated up. We're gonna grab our onion. I'm gonna reach over for you. Sorry. We're gonna slowly let the onion cook, like we said before, until it gets so translucent. But you really want to get that really delicious aroma out here.
And Chef, for somebody watching this who maybe is not confident in the kitchen, like how would you rate this meal as far as cooking
My
abilities
opinion,
go?
It's the one of the easiest meals that we're gonna make in the next few months over the winter and fall months. It looks complicated because it's all laid out like that, but we're just
Yes.
doing that for show. It looks great, right? But overall, you're gonna have your shaker in your house. You're gonna have your measurer. You're gonna have your teaspoon. So really, it's just everybody has these ingredients in their pantry. You have cumin, you have coriander, you have salt, you have pepper,
Right.
you have cinnamon. Everybody's got cinnamon in their
Yes.
house, right? So these are great things to use. You don't have to go out and buy anything crazy. Lentils, most of the times we have them in our pantry.
Right.
Chopped tomatoes, we have in our pantries as well. So super simple recipe. We're gonna let that go for just a minute or two, and just gonna keep kind of assembling some of our ingredients. So we have our garlic that we chopped up.
So this sounds like it could be a great pantry meal if you haven't had a chance to go to the grocery store or don't really have a ton of fresh ingredients on hand.
For sure, but yeah, a lot of the meals I was reading on the AHA website are really great pantry meals that you can
Yes.
have in house. So if you're kind of thinking of a last minute thing, and I'm really well known for making pantry food, right? 'Cause
Yes.
we're stuck sometimes. We're home. We live in the New York area. It's always cold.
Right.
6 months of the year, we're inside. What do we have? Who wants to go in the 3 feet of snow? We get in our pantry. We come up with
Yes.
something really great.
And what I love about this meal too is it's so comforting. And food, of course, it's about nutrients, it's about getting appropriate nutrition, but it's also about the experience. And this type of meal is just so warm and comforting, especially in the colder months.
Oh, for sure. You smell that. The coriander smells so nice.
Amazing.
Really great stuff there. So like I said, what I like to do is so we have our onion working. We're going to throw our garlic in. And we'll give that another few seconds, about 30 seconds or so. And what I really like to do, like I said, I like to get the spices in there. So in about a second, I'm going to have you throw those in for us.
Yeah.
Get involved. So we have our coriander, which we put on our mortar here. Put that in there. Great. Appreciate it. We have our cumin.
Love it.
We have our cinnamon, which of course is super healthy for you.
And it goes with so many things.
Yes.
Oatmeal, yogurt, just delicious. Soups.
So we're gonna get a little stir, and just about so you're gonna start smelling those aromatics. They're really working. We're toasting those spices. You're getting the oils that come out. Really getting that flavor in there. How's that smelling?
Smells delicious.
All right, so now we could start to add I'm gonna hold off on the salt and pepper. I don't need to toast those, but we have some really great ingredients here. We have some organic chopped diced tomatoes, which are you get in a can. Really beautiful stuff. This is from our local market too, so. You wanna try that?
And fun fact, chopped tomatoes is actually a great source of potassium, which can counteract sodium in the diet, which is obviously going to be important for heart
That's
health.
great. Yeah, I love those ones, guys. Thank you. Awesome.
So that, tomato paste, chopped tomatoes, diced tomatoes, it all is a great source of potassium.
All right, so we have a little bit of our salt, which we have a quarter teaspoon of salt and a quarter teaspoon of ground black pepper as well.
I will also say that if you are thinking about decreasing sodium in the diet, you can look for lower salt varieties of canned food.
For sure, yeah.
Lower sodium lentils, lower sodium tomatoes.
Oh yeah, and all these spices that go in here. I mean, if we're doing a lot of low sodium, at the hospital here at Morrison Healthcare, we really believe in the power of food, and the power of food is really represented in our daily, what we're cooking for the patients, what we're cooking for the, guests coming in.
Mm-hmm.
And Morrison, like I said, we live in the power of food, and it's a healing, right? This is a healing.
Yes.
We're healing people with food every day, and this is what I live for. This is why I became a chef. We've got some grated lemon zest. So I took the liberty of grating some for us. Now, obviously, we're talking about how great this smells. You can pretty much, use this in anything. You're really gonna get that amazing lemon flavor just from the zest. You don't want to get the white part, just the yellow on the outside. And again,
Smells so
you're
good.
gonna pass this smell over to you. It smells amazing. All right. So we have a couple of items here I want to talk about. We have our yellow lentils,
Yes.
and this is them in the dry stage, which are, they're absolutely beautiful. You have a couple options where you could soak them in water overnight to kind of get them soft.
Yep.
And then you can add them to the stew, drain them, add them to the stew as you're making it, and then it should take about 25 minutes or so for them to cook.
Okay.
So what we have here are the lentils that we soaked overnight. Obviously, they expand.
Okay.
They are cooked a little bit faster.
Right.
So I'm gonna hold off on those a minute, but we have to get to our star of the show, which is our butternut squash. Okay, so we have a butternut squash here. This is a local butternut squash. This is from Lancaster. Beautiful. We called for about 2 pounds, and I said this is about a 3 or 4 pounder here.
Mm-hmm.
We want to clean it off. I'm gonna show you how to get this nice and clean.
And buying local ingredients, it's not only a great way to support farmers and agriculture in the country, but also it's so fresh, and you get all those nutrients that it's really incredible.
Oh, we believe in local, sustainable food with Morrison, and we really want to push that local, sustainable, right?
Yes.
Like you said, it's fresh, it's local, it's right around the corner, it's here. So what a better way than buy something as you're in your market. Look at your market. Look at the labels. What are you reading? What does it say? How far is it? Is it from South America? Is it from California? Is it from New Jersey? From New York? Where is it coming from? So we have our butternut squash here. Now you know how it looks like this. This is where the seeds are, right? So I like to cut right about in the middle here, so we're not really dealing with the seeds for this time. But it's a slippery item. It gets a little slippery in the middle. So you really just want to have a really sharp knife, and just as you're doing, just go down the side here, kind of shave it as you can. There's one option. Next option, we have a peeler. Okay, started it. Can I just peel it? Yeah. Takes a little time, but it's going all over the place and it's messy. And they're saying, "What are you doing in there in the kitchen? You're making a mess."
Yes.
And we could do it like this. I'm a professional chef, so I take my knife and I cut it up.
And would you be able to sub other types of winter squash?
Sure, there's kombucha, which is a really delicious squash. You could dice up some, if you have, we always have some sort of zucchini squash in our refrigerator too, that we bought too many, like, I didn't cook it all, so you can take that up, you can dice it and put that in the last minute. It doesn't take too long to cook that. But I really love the winter squashes, butternut squash,
Carnival squash.
Yeah, sure. You could even use spaghetti squash if you really wanted to. You could turn it this dish into something totally different. Obviously, you want to roast that ahead of time. So we're kind of just peeling this off. I cut it in half again just to make it a little more manageable for everybody at home. And I think, but we got some smoke there. We got some steam. We got some flavor. So this looks like it's coming about, to our boil. So what we're going to do is we're going to add about 5 cups of our organic vegetable stock. And really beautiful. This is rich. Obviously, we're keeping this dish vegetarian. So we're going to add about 5 cups here to our stock, to our stew.
And also, again, if you were to purchase vegetable stock, considering getting the lower sodium variety, if you are trying to lower sodium in your diet.
Yes. I use low sodium chicken, vegetable, beef. Everything I use is low sodium, but you could always add the salt. Exactly. Right?
And then you're in control of how much salt.
You're in control, right. So we only added about a quarter teaspoon today. What could do with as you never want to add too much in the beginning, because by the end of it you may say, "Oh my God, this is so salty."
Right. And then you can't unsalt it.
You can't unsalt it.
Once it's salted.
No going back after that.
No. You can always add, but you can't remove.
With our aromatic spices that we have in here, that could take the place of, if you're not missing that salt, you have these great flavors. It's time to eat healthy, right? So So we're taking our butternut squash here, and we're really dicing it up. And you really want some even cut pieces. And the reason why we do that is because so it all cooks evenly. And if you have a piece that's this big
Right.
and a piece that's this big, it's going to take longer for this one to
Yes.
cook as opposed to this one to cook. So kids are waiting, wife's waiting, where's dinner? Oh, waiting for the large piece to cook. And we really want to, cut this and peel this in front of everybody so we can kind of show.
Right.
It's not as daunting, it's not as scary as everybody may think for
Yes.
for what it is when you see this big, large item. You could take this if you were a little afraid to kind of, use the round part and then take the seeds out. You could just roast it in the oven whole by itself and then scoop it out in the end and separate the seeds. It all
that's a
depends
great
on how comfortable you are.
And would the seeds toast the same?
You could, and then you could actually take them out like it was a pumpkin.
Yep.
Yeah, and then you can kind of, toast them again, and then you can get them, you could grind them up, you could put them in a salad. I mean,
Yes. They make
I love to
great
use-
salad toppers.
they do, and I love to use every
Juice.
ingredient. Like we're
Yes.
using the lemon, and we're going to add the juice to it. Okay, so now we have our butternut squash added to our little stew here. We're going to give it a few minutes, and then once that comes to a boil, and we let the squash slowly simmer until it becomes fork tender. Once it becomes fork tender, we're going to add our lentils. Our lentils
Okay.
are already soft, super soft right now, so it's not going to require much cooking.
Right.
So once that comes to a boil and they're fork tender, we're going to add our lentils and let it stew for about 10 minutes just to kind of reheat through and then
Okay.
combine all the ingredients together.
And let's say somebody did not soak the lentils. You mentioned you can add the raw lentils. It's just
Yes.
going to take longer to cook.
Correct. I would add it probably about the same time that we're adding the squash now.
Okay.
This way, through the cooking process, there should be about the same even cooking time.
130. Just another number, right? Think again. It can mean all sorts of bad things. Swimming is great, but swimming with 130 sharks is a bad idea. 130 is too much of a lot of things, and it's too high for blood pressure. A blood pressure reading of 130 over 80 or higher means you're more likely to have a stroke or heart attack. Visit heart.org/HBP to find out more about controlling your blood pressure.
All right, well, here we are back from commercial break. I'm here with Brittany, and we're putting back in plant-based. So far we've got the process where we have the butternut squash, and it's been simmering for quite some time, really getting those flavors melded together. I just wanted to show you, talking about those butternut squash before, we did pull some of the seeds out, and that's what they kind of look like, pumpkin seeds. So you can toast them off, you can roast them in the oven, use it for like the toppings like you were saying.
Yes.
Great idea.
Love it for like a soup topping, salad toppings. And as you mentioned, this is a fully plant-based meal, and with plant-based meals, we have the opportunity of getting all the nutrients in, fiber, it's really low in saturated fat, and just really, heart healthy ingredients overall.
I love it. Can you open the top enough for me? So
Sure.
we're gonna get the lentils in now since we've been simmering for a while. And we get the lentils in. And those are really just for for just heating through and then kind of completing our lentil butternut squash Moroccan stew.
Yes.
We do have some coriander here, or cilantro. There's a lot of different ways you could call it. I love it. There's two people in the world, haters and lovers of coriander.
Yes.
Right? So I'm a lover. I don't know if you're a lover or a hater, but I love it.
I love cilantro, but I have heard of people thinking it tastes like soup.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's why there's the two.
Yes.
The
Yes.
soap and the non-soapers. So
Yes.
I'm a non-soaper. So I like to grab my coriander. Now we put some of these on the side here. We're going to kind of garnish that and sprinkle those on top. So I grab my cilantro and I like to cut it in half, and then I kind of do a half cut again. Everybody's like, well, how do you get that fine chop of of your herbs? And I just kind of get it all nice and tight. You really want to pull that together tight, and then just do and the stems are great, carry so much flavor of the coriander in there. So stems used, don't throw them away, don't discard them. Everything goes in the pot.
Great.
So real tight, small cuts here, and we're really kind of getting a nice shred of our coriander. And this smells just as good as the lemon zest that we did before, and if you have a couple of large pieces there, that's fine. It's all going to melt together. So here we have our coriander, it's nice and chopped up. We got 3/4 of a cup of coriander right here. Can you open that up again for me? So I'm going to grab that. We're going to top this off. This is going to bring everything together. A little more. Thank you so much. We'll give it a little bit of spin, in the. Wow, that smells.
Yeah, it smells.
amazing. It smells so
It smells
good.
and it looks great.
So good. Thank you.
And what I love about this meal, it's simple, there aren't that many ingredients and it cooks relatively fast. And with home cooked meals, not only are they heart healthy, but it really allows you to take control of the ingredients, how much salt you're adding to the food,
For sure. Yeah,
and
really
focusing on
control.
those like plant sources of protein.
And you love those
so
one
forth.
pot meals.
Love
Makes
a
cleanup
one-pot
so much
meal.
easier.
Yes,
Right?
they really do. I feel like fall and winter are like the best seasons
Sure.
to be able to make these one pot meals.
Of course, and you could actually put this in a slow cooker if you really wanted to.
Yeah.
Yep, put it in, start in the morning, put on maybe 4 hours, put on the low setting. By the time you come home from work, you have a meal that's already done.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a great way to incorporate those slow cook meals. So I'm gonna take our lemon again, and I'm gonna add a little more zest, because at the end of the day, I like to kind of just add a little more
Okay.
fresh lemon zest to it, and then we're gonna cut it in half. We're actually gonna use a little bit of the juice. When I use my lemons, you have to get the zest, but we're not just using the zest, you wanna use the juice as well. Okay, you wanna use the entire product. And then if you wanna do something with the leftovers, you could throw it in the oven, maybe make a place
Right.
for like lemons or something like that. So a little bit of lemon there. So now our cilantro's been in there, it's kind of coming together. You don't have to go too much longer once the cilantro and the lentils in there, because they're kind of already heated through. And we're going to just open this up, and I'm gonna hold on to this, I'm gonna add it to the pot after we're done. So we have our stew here, our Moroccan lentils, spices, butternut squash. I mean, it looks great. I'm gonna take a little bit, I'll take this off your hands.
Yeah.
Thank you. And this is the moment we've all been waiting for, is what it looks like when it comes to the plate. So
Perfect.
we have these gorgeous plates, inspired.
Yes.
So we're gonna take our stew, and don't be afraid, because it is super healthy. Oh, that looks great.
And what's great about this meal too is it serves, a full family. And family meals can be such an important part of community and also our health. That social connection is actually really important for heart health. And so being able to have a meal like this, everyone can sit around the table and enjoy one another's company.
Which is my favorite part of the night, is sitting around with the
Yes.
family and having the meals. And growing up with the amazing mother and father and family that cooked, it's all about that connection that you get at the end of the day. So a little bit of our lemon zest here, and I'm just gonna use a little bit and just kind of sprinkle a little bit on. It really is gonna give that extra little bit of lemon and deliciousness. We're gonna add a little bit of our lemon juice for a little bit of acid. I love having a little bit of tartness in my stocks and my soups and everything that just gives that little extra flavor. So just a little bit of this on top. And that's just gonna give a little bit of zip to that, right? So we have our cilantro that we kind of just picked apart the leaves off the top. We're just gonna garnish the top with this, with our cilantro.
That looks so nice. And let's say somebody is not a cilantro lover. Is there another herb that you can tell?
Sure, I mean, you could go parsley, which is a pretty universal
Yes.
one. I mean, you could use basil. I think anything that's fresh and in season.
Yeah.
If it's green and it's vibrant, it smells great, a tarragon, I mean, just about anything.
Yes.
Maybe stick away from rosemary because it's a little bit of choppy.
Yes.
Make it that little bit of bite in there, but anything that's green and in season would be really nice. And you can get herbs all way along. Now, if you want to add a little bit of brown rice to the bottom, which is super healthy as well, if you want to do something like that, that'll soak it up. I mean, that's great. This will break down. The lentils are good for that, that starchiness. So here we have the soup. So I'm gonna have a little spoon. And we could just do a little taste together with the broth and the lentils. I think that'll be delicious. Let's see how it tastes.
Cheers. Oh my God. Really good. So much flavor.
That's it. That was delicious.
Guys, this was so much fun. Just, I've had a great time behind the scenes learning from you, Chef, learning from you, Brittany. On behalf of the American Heart Association, we want to say thank you, Chef Hans from Compass One Health. Thank you, Brittany, and all the great work you're doing, bringing your registered dietitian knowledge to us. If you have time, visit recipes.heart.org to find more local heart-healthy dishes and recipes that you can make at home. Cooking at home is great for your heart, it's great for your mind, and what a wonderful way to spend the fall and winter. So on behalf of everyone at the American Heart Association, thank you. See you again soon.
Yay!
Thank you.